you've ever gone with your gut to make a decision or felt butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous, you're likely getting signals from an unexpected source. Your second brain. That's right. That's what medical professionals call our guts because studies show they make most of the important chemicals that affect memory. Joining us now is author and clinical pharmacist Elena Bensonoff. Elena, it's great to see you.
Oh, thank you, Gayle. I'm so happy to be here with you.
Yeah, this is such a great subject because people don't realize that our guts are directly linked to our brain. That's why they're called the second brain, and that could play a big role in our memories as well.
Yes, actually, by the time we are 2 years old, our gut microbiome is established. And as we age, it declines. So we have about 10 to 100 trillion different bacterial species in our most distal part of the gut, which is the colon. So it's absolutely linked. There is a relationship between gut health, inflammatory diseases, type 2 diabetes, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, autism, Crohn's disease, heart disease.
Wow, these are all linked to our gut. So, you hear a lot about probiotics. Is that something we should be thinking about?
So I would say it's very interesting to see what happens in some of the studies, and I'll share a couple of studies. For example, if you take probiotics and you are on an antibiotic, right? Because medications will cause a decline in the gut flora. So there is research showing that it will improve your gut diversity by 60% versus those that take placebo. Not all probiotics are created equal. This is something I had to learn as well. So for example, there's a lot of different ingredients that you'll see on the bottles. You want to make sure that the bacteria is alive. This is very important. The second thing, you'll see there's other fillers in the products like silicone dioxide or silica. And that actually is shown in some of the studies that it depletes the bifidobacteria, which is the beneficial bacteria. So it's important that you read labels and you know that those ingredients are not in there. Now, if you look at some of the probiotics, for example, in yogurts, because a lot of people say, I'm having yogurts, you cannot replenish your bifidobacteria just by having a yogurt as well.
Oh, that's very interesting, because a lot of people lean on yogurts alone, thinking that they're getting their probiotic fix. So when you say that our probiotics need to have a live element to them, does that mean we need to research the ones that are kept refrigerated?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if it's just a probiotic sitting on a shelf at your local drugstore,
most likely it's dead.
Yeah, that's dead. Okay, all right.
Yes.
Good to know. And then what about foods like sauerkraut and fermented foods?
Yes. So those do not replenish the bifidobacteria, but they do replenish other good bacteria in the gut. And it's absolutely important, the amount and the type of probiotics that you consume through fermented foods. Like kimchi is a great source of probiotic, sauerkraut, pickles. Yes.
All good sources.
Definitely.
What are we doing wrong in this country? I mean, I know drinking leads to inflammation, all the fatty fried foods that we eat. I mean, are we really, killing ourselves with our diets?
So I would say it's a global thing that's happening right now, and it is about lifestyle, diet, stress. All of that leads to the decline in the diversity of the microbiome. And medications, oftentimes, if you have a headache, most people will tend to go for Advil or Tylenol. And what does it do? It completely will destroy or decrease the amount of good bacterial flora. So yes, it's important to see what kind of relationship you have with medications, what kind of lifestyle, the diet, and yes, alcohol will decrease your bacteria diversity.
So how do you guide your patients? I mean, once you get somebody getting the nutrients they need, their proper type of probiotics, can you start to notice a change in your cognitive health?
Absolutely. There's actually some evidence based on the research that I actually have been following, another physician who's remarkable. She's absolutely revolutionary in her field. If anyone wants to look up Progenobiome, she's a clinical trial geneticist, gastroenterologist, and what she's finding, they've actually done a transplant, fecal transplant, and by the way, not all fecal transplants are created equal. A husband who had Alzheimer's, his wife, they did her fecal transplant, and he started to remember his daughter's birthday.
Wow.
So that's remarkable. So there is emerging evidence that's showing that somebody who has diverse microbiome, and they are a really good donor for somebody who, let's say, has Alzheimer's or memory decline, that could be really beneficial.
That is really incredible, because I had heard of the fecal transplants before, but hadn't really followed up. So what you're saying is research is showing
Yes.
that there must be a direct link, because if people with Alzheimer's and memory disorders can start to remember things so quickly,
Yes.
then everything is communicating with the brain and the gut.
Yes, and there's actually a couple of other studies. In 2017, there was a study that was done with mice. They transplanted older mice fecal feces into a younger mice that was germ-free. And what they found was amazing, because they found that the same inflammatory markers that they've transplanted from the older mice showed up in the younger mice. So it contributed to inflammation. Same thing they did with fecal transplants and depression. So if a mice was exhibiting depression, they've transplanted the fecal transplant into the younger mice. It showed depression. Same thing with schizophrenia. So there's a lot of evidence now coming into the light. Yes.
Great conversation. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you.